She originally published her book, Go Girl, in 1997, looking to inspire and empower beginning and experienced travelers. Now she's launching a new book in a couple of days, Go Girl 2, a new and expanded edition of the classic travel manual with a remarkable collection of 54 travel tales. Here to tell us more about it is journalist Elaine Lee. Elaine, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk about your book, Go Girl. And let's just dive right into it. What can readers expect when they open these pages?
They can expect to be entertained, to be educated, to be inspired.
And how does this book differ from your first one?
Well, with the second book, I brought in a lot of new travel journalists whose voices hadn't been heard 20 years ago. And unfortunately, the older book has gotten outdated, and we needed new information. You know, people don't use traveler's checks anymore, and you know, so things like that, you have to get rid of those things and talk about, you know, social media and the new ways that people are creating their travel adventures.
Why was it important to you to update this book and get that knowledge out there for everyone?
Well, I consider myself like a citizen of the world, having been to 69 countries and taken 2 solo trips around the world. So it's important for people to embrace their global citizenship, and I want them to have the courage and the knowledge to see the world, because life is so short, so fleeting and unpredictable. It would be a shame to leave this planet and not having seen it. Don't you wonder about what life is like in Indonesia or Africa or Asia? Why not? Why not see it? So there's a mystification, because of course that it's a little difficult to plan a trip. So in my book, for example, I have a planning guide, because I remember when I took my first trip around the world, there wasn't a planning guide. It's so many things to consider. But once you go down that list and check them all off, it can really be easy and wonderful and magnificent.
Yeah, and you're so right. I know that traveling can feel really daunting to some and feel overwhelming. And where do I start and how do I do it? So what are some other practical tips that people can take out of your book that will help alleviate those stresses and just make it easy for them to enjoy their travels?
Yes, well, one thing that I've found very, very helpful for me in my journeys is that I belong to a home exchange and a hospitality exchange club. And that allows me to swap homes with people in different countries and or stay in their homes in exchange for them staying in my home at some later date. So that just cuts out all the lodging expenses, and also it gives you that opportunity to learn about the country from their point of view. To have a local person in a country that can kind of pave the way for you. Now, this is the best restaurant and the best bakery, and this is the best theater, and so I really love having a contact. If I don't get a place through my hospitality exchange, then I make sure that at least somebody gives me the name and number of a local person who can help pave my way. I think that's so important to learning how to enjoy another country.
Yeah, and I think that, just like you said, locals have a completely different perspective, and they really know the ins and outs. So that's a great tip, to connect with a local who will be able to give you the details and kind of the hidden things that other people might not know about. Where is one of your favorite places that you've traveled to?
Oh, that's a hard question, Jessica, because I have so many places that I love. My favorite, like so many people, is Paris. That's why it's the #1 tourist destination in the world. I loved New Zealand and Thailand and Brazil.
And you picked up your top from Thailand
as
well, right?
Yes, northern Thailand, yes. And that's the thing, you can buy gorgeous clothes when you travel and have wonderful food and meet fascinating people.
Did you ever experience any safety concerns, or were you ever scared when you've traveled anywhere, and how did you navigate that?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, I'm often terrified, but I do what I fear and watch the fear disappear. I just walk through it. But ways that I plan is that I learn a little bit of the language, learn the money, and I dress modestly, and that keeps me safe. And again, having a local person help me makes a difference. And I, you know, just step out there on faith. I always say the universe rewards acts of faith, and you just step out there. And the harsh reality is that there's no place in the world more dangerous than the United States or a country at war. So if you can maneuver in the United States, you can certainly maneuver in France and Switzerland and Turkey and or where I just came back from, Croatia, which is a magnificent destination.
Beautiful. I know one of the hurdles that keep people from traveling are the cost. I know you touched earlier on lodging tip and how people can save there. What are some other tips when it comes to figuring out your budget and making that work so that you can go experience the world?
Yes, well, I luckily found wonderful credit cards that you can get that give you, like, you join them and spend $3,000 within the first 3 months, and you get like 80,000 miles. So, I mean, I went to Hawaii for 15,000 miles, and then I have another 65 left, 60 left, and I'm like, wow. So a credit card, getting the right credit card, using it for everything and build up those miles, that's one great way to do it, I think.
So that'll save you on your airplane. You got saving tips for the lodging. That's excellent. What can people take away from your book? What do you want people to take away from your book?
I really want them to, if not inspire them to travel. So many people have said, that my book was the gateway to their seeing the world. That for example, when I started my first journey, I had never met a black woman who had traveled around the world. And to have a role model, I think, is important. This one man contacted me and said that he reads a chapter of the book every night to his daughter because he wants her to have these kind of role models, other women who have seen the world and hear their stories. So I'm hoping maybe young people will read the book as well and help them build a life that includes international travel.
Elaine, thank you so much for all of these tips. I know that your book will inspire others, and just if you can do it, they can do it.
Yes.
And all of your tips and tricks in there to help them get out and experience the world. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
And thank you for interviewing me.
Yes, of course. To learn more and to get a copy of Go To Girl, we'll have a link on our website. Just head to liveinthebay.tv.